Good afternoon, everyone. This is Matt over at MilestoneCapitalGrowthPortfolio.com. Today's Tuesday, January 16th, and we're going to look at the SPY, the transports, the UVXY, SVXY, and FAS today. Um, and we're going to see if we can figure out what's going to happen tomorrow or in the coming days. With the Fed coming out tomorrow, see what's going to happen. I know everybody, worried about the rates and this, that, and the other thing. So we're getting a little bit of a little bit of action. Um, liquidity action that we need to make some money on the SPY, that's for sure, and all of these. But we just want. I'm going to give you a couple different views and time frames so we can. You can plan accordingly. So you can see the SPY. This is a monthly chart right here. The SPY. It's been doing really well. You can see the relative strength index is up at 70. It does need a little bit of a break. And any break would pull it back down to the middle Bollinger Band on a nice break. But we need a real full reset on this, and eventually I think we're going to get it. I have several targets for my members, all the way down to 160, right in this area, actually 165, and there's a reason for that. So if you're a member, you definitely know all my detail on that. But we trade SPY, every day, and with options, and we do very well. We missed the bottoms and the tops by about 6 cents, so 6 or 7 cents in that area. So make sure you join us to check that out, and I'll give you a little example when we break it down a little bit more. But as you can see right here on the monthly, we're a little bit toppy. The weekly, you can see we pulled back down again, but we did regain the middle Bollinger Band this week so far. Okay, and remember, it's only Tuesday, but there is a pattern in place, a trend line in place. You can see on the weekly, pretty much in this area right here, which looks really good. So it's resistance, and we are heading to the downside at this point. Okay, this is a downtrend. There's no way you can say it's in an uptrend under any circumstances. You could say you have a double bottom bounce right here, and that's about it. And I will show you how that became oversold and was a buy to the upside with an easy expectation, and where it could go. So you can get an idea of what we do pretty much every single day, and not just on SPY, on probably about 10 or 12 other ones that are really lucrative. So breaking it down to the daily now, you can see here that we have the tops in place, and you can work off the bodies. You can work however you trade it. You can work off of the wicks or the bodies first, or however you do it. But you can see here that we're in a definite downtrend. Relative strength on the dailies at 48, so it's right in the middle, but it is not over the middle Bollinger Band and is not over the 50-day moving average. And you can see here that the middle Bollinger Band is now turning to the downside, and we're rounding pretty good here on the upper Bollinger Band, and we're starting to spread apart a little bit with the lower Bollinger Band. So when they start to spread to the downside, okay, that gives you a clear indication of a downside move getting ready to brew. As you can see here, it was going across the top, but then you can see here when it started to round, same thing took place, and it spread apart a little bit more. So working with the Bollinger Bands and everything else, you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more and show you how we trade this one, okay? And the way we trade this is from top to bottom, okay? And it's a very simple process. When indicators and things get broke, that's just what happens. So when we buy here for specific reasons, we sell here, and it's just that simple. And the reason we have our targets is because we have previous resistance, and our relative strength index gets to an area of pain. So we've been playing this to the upside. We bought this exactly 6 cents away from the dead bottom. Um, and everybody has done a great job. But as you can see, it broke the middle Bollinger Band and also the 50-day moving average. And this is just a bounce, okay? And it is what it is until it isn't. And that's one of our main terms that we use, because it is an uptrend until it's not. And what I mean by that is there's no need to sell your call position until you break this trend line, because if you break this trend line, that means it's going to be reversing its trend. Okay, so right now, it was obvious here that when we reached this area, this was an easy target because we had a gap here. Okay, and when we caught this bottom here, there was an easy gap here. This was stage one. Here's the other gap right here, which is stage two. Stage two is going to be 211.31, which will also fall in line with your downtrend, which will also take your relative strength index from 30 to 50. Okay, and here's your 30, and here's your, I'm sorry, to 70, and here will be your 70. Okay, so taking the Fed right out of the equation itself, you can see we're in a downtrend, and there's no way this relative strength index is going to go to 140 tomorrow. Okay, so the chances of this breaking and going way up here is just very slim to none. So from a trading standpoint, it's very easy to see that SPY goes up and SPY goes down, and it's in this beautiful pattern right now. And the pattern really works if you really trade properly and manage these trades. Okay, so it's coming into an area where a decision is going to be made. In other words, you could see here the moves were much bigger, okay, from here to here to here to here to here. Now the moves are getting very tight, okay, so you're not making as much on your options, and the time frame is getting a little bit less. So you have to understand exactly what's going on if you're going to trade options, especially if you're doing weeklies or every 2 weeks. You have to have a clear understanding of how to make the money on this. So this is basically what we do throughout the day, and we have our notifications when these things take place, and on different, IBM, Facebook, Twitter. It doesn't matter which one it is. We have this all built in for our members in the live chat room, and we do this throughout the day. So, I think on our last 12 trades for SPY, IBM, and all these other ones, probably about 35 trades. I'm sorry. There were no losses, okay? And the losses are created only if you, set up your greed factor and you don't manage the actual process itself, okay? Just the strict technicals. I mean, the market's run by computers, so we need to figure out, that part of it, and we are. All right, so let's finish up with this one here, and we're gonna look at the monthly on the Tran. Okay, I'm going to try and move a little bit faster. You can see here it's trying to hold the middle Bollinger Band on the monthly, okay? And it's got a little bit of bounce in its step. It's had a great move from here to here, but we think it's going to go even lower, okay? And the reason I say that is if you look at the weekly now, you're going to see the weekly is getting ready to head south again also. Your relative strength index at 42. We do have a target on this that we should be getting. And you can see here any bounce in the step, okay, it's meeting resistance every single time. And you can't beat this, okay? It's down. It's heading down. All right. So unless this week, hits this and breaks over it, we're still in a downtrend. It's just that simple. So we have a nice little target right here, which will create the weekly to be oversold, and the daily's pretty much oversold. We'll drill that down a little bit. So it's getting close to where it needs to be, but you can see for the first time, okay, in how long? It's 2013. The 50 and the middle Bollinger Band are getting ready to turn over, okay? And when they cross, it's not a good sign. All right, so there is going to be bouncing and there is going to be everything else, but this is going to, we think it's going to come down even lower. Okay, but even though the bounce will be there, we're still going to be drifting to the south. Okay, so on the monthly, this middle Bollinger Band that we just are trying to hold as support is not going to hold. You could see the relative strength index still coming off of the top here. You could see your stochastics still rolling down. Any buying volume is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. All right, so really be on top of what the signals are that you're getting across the board here. Now, if you look at the daily just keeps dropping. We did this with the with all the airlines. So we're running these airlines perfectly and all these other things, but you have to make sure that you have a full understanding, and you want to say, okay, well, is it going to be going down? Here's my consolidation box. And normally when you're coming top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, you go back up if you're in a breakout mode. But no, you have reversed the trend. Your trend here was to the upside, and now it's to the downside. Okay, that's your upside. This is your downside. We have a broken system right now. Okay, and it's just a full reset. We need it. Okay, it's just that simple. We need it. The market's way overbought. All right, UVXY. Now I'm going to give you a great look on UVXY. Okay, something a little bit more interesting for you, and I'm going to go right out to a monthly. And when I come out to the monthly here, you're going to see a pattern. Actually, let's go a little bit further out. I'm going to do a quarter, no, monthly. Let's stick it to the monthly. The next one I'll do a quarterly. All right, so you can see the pattern here. And all right, so you can see when it does its split, okay, it goes up and then down. Does it split, goes up and then it goes down, and it fills its gap. Okay, does a split, goes all the way up and then back down. Does a split, okay. So what's it going to do this time? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. All right, it's gonna go up and then it's gonna come down. So keep an eye on this. This is going to be very important for the market also, okay? And I don't need to get into too much detail with these because this is the way you want to see it, okay? Now, once you VXY, we're down in the daily here, breaks this middle Bollinger Band, okay? Kiss it goodbye. It's just that simple. So just let it take a breather and pay attention to what they're doing, okay? These charts are telling you something. But if that middle Bollinger Band holds, it's going to be rocking to the upside, and that's what we're looking for, okay? SVXY is going to be next. All right, SVXY, look at it, split and covered the split, okay? Split, and it's going to cover the split. Right now it's in a consolidation box, okay? And the relative strength index is at 54, so it's come down and up, and it just hasn't made it up to this part yet at 120. But will it? Yes, absolutely it will. But I would just keep an eye on it and go from there. So FAZ is another one. FAS, we just did a split again, okay? You could see here. But your indicators are still showing to the downside, so we think it's going to come down to about maybe about 19 or 20. We're going to base it off of a gap that needs to get filled right here, okay, which is going to be 1621, and that's very important. Once we get the 1621 filled, okay, on a nice hard down, then we should reverse to the upside. But you can see here that you're going to get across here shortly also, and we are sticking with the monthly on this. So we don't have a bull market just yet on this, and it usually takes some time. So we can get a little bit of chop right here like we have here, and then it came down and filled a gap. As you can see, when we did this split, it didn't shoot all the way back up to close this gap right here. As you can see, here's where the support was, okay, and the market came down to 1042, okay, and filled this lower gap right here. So here's our thinking for this one. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to fill the gap here, and then we're going to bounce to the upside. The market's going to reverse to the downside, and it's going to be a blast. Okay, folks, listen, we know what we're talking about. We're traders, we're investors, we're keeping an eye on these markets to make a lot of money. Now, our SPY target is going to be 160 by the end of next year. I'm sorry, by September of next year. I think we're going to hit 190 by the end of the summer. Good luck, and we will see you on the other side. This is Matt over at Milestone Capital Growth Portfolio. We have a lifetime membership special going on right now for $9.99. And that's for a lifetime, and that's for full website, all learning tools, all learning videos, everything else, plus daily member videos, and also live chat throughout the day for market alerts and market trading. All right, this is Matt. Have yourself a fantastic night.